Joining me now, former Reagan White House political director, Great America PAC strategist Ed Rollins, and Randy Evans, member of the RNC Rules Committee, a former senior advisor for the Newt Gingrich presidential campaign of 2012. Gentlemen, great to have you both with us.
Thank you.
I've got to ask you.
Thank you for having us.
As you might have guessed, Randy, I'm a little aggravated at hearing a former president behave much like a current president, acting as though the rest of us are a bunch of damn fools who don't understand what's going on. What do you make of the condescending, patronizing attitude taken on by the counselor to the former secretary, that is President Bill Clinton?
Well, my comment is this, is that it's complicated only if truth is an obscure concept. That's really the bottom line. I thought Congressman Trey Gowdy in South Carolina made it about as abundantly clear as possible when he posed question after question after question to the FBI director, and each time the answer was, that was not true. That was not true. It's not a complicated concept. The fact of the matter is, it's called perjury. When you put your hand on the Bible and you swear to tell the truth and you don't, you have committed a federal crime, which is perjury, which some suggest, and I'm one of them who believes that it does, renders you ineligible for the office, any federal office, including the office of the presidency.
Yeah, well, I think many of us would think that there is no way in the world that anyone could seriously consider Hillary Clinton for the presidency because of the scandals in which she has been enmeshed, which she has dragging along with her, and which she, the dust from which she keeps kicking up.
Well, the Clintons have never been handicapped by integrity or convictions. So for the former president of the United States, who was in the office for 8 years, to stand there and say, well, classified documents are really confusing and not everybody understands it. You understand it very, very well. I handled classified documents when I was in the White House. John Bolton handled that documents. Is going to be on your show. We knew what the classified documents were. We knew how to handle them. They're very clearly laid out.
Does the prosecution that the Congress is seeking now, does it go forward?
I think they're going to have a hard time getting it to go forward. I think they're going to argue it's politics. I think it should go forward, and I think they will certainly try. But the Democrats will obviously be unanimous in trying to oppose it, and I think it gets very confusing in a political cycle.
Yeah, and I think that, I think Director Comey is very, very reluctant to actually decide the outcome of a presidential election. I think he understands the historical proportions, but I think there also has to be some reliance on the judgment of the American people. I said this earlier. I attended an interesting conference where I was at a different conference, but there were like cosmetic and hair salesmen there, and they did this interesting thing.
You were peeking in on a superior conference to the one you were attending.
That's exactly. That's true. Anything superior to a bunch of lawyers meeting. But I thought you'd find this interesting, Lou. They had people, when they signed in, put their name down, and who would you vote for today if the election were today? And Hillary Clinton won 53 to 43. At the end of the program, they had everybody vote by secret ballot. And when the secret ballots were counted, Donald Trump won 51 to 41.
That's correct.
And it just told me something. It told me something, which is it's politically incorrect today, in August of 2016, to be openly for Donald Trump, even though he is the ruthless truth teller, as opposed to the politically correct, dishonest one. Yeah. And I think that we're starting to see that anger of the American people kind of bubble up. And it'll be interesting to see how it plays out in September and October as we move forward.
Paul Manafort talking about it, his candidate talking about it day in and day out, it seems, about political correctness. And I wish everyone would attach one word to the front of that, because it's leftist political correctness that's at issue here. That is the definition of political correctness. It is from the left. It is mind control, it's language control, it's thought control. It is nothing less than authoritarian in nature and purpose.
It's also for the ultimate game is fighting for the power of the country, and I think that's what they're all about today. The left, whether it's the left media, the left Democrats or what have you, who want to continue to take this country on a path that is not what the majority of Americans want. But I think at the end of the day, this is still a very troubled election.
Well, let's be honest. I mean, both candidates want the power to represent their interests. It just so happens that the outsider, the anti-establishment candidate is Donald Trump, and he wants to restore power to the people. That seems to me like a noble purpose.
It is a noble purpose. It's a difficult purpose when you've got all the people there who have the power fighting you every single day.
Yeah, well, you know what? They didn't. This is you know, as the saying goes, this is a big boy deal.
That's what democracies are all about. And I think the key thing here.
But I don't get the feeling that there's a fight. I mean, I hear complaints about the damn media. I hear complaints about money. I hear all of this. Why in the world aren't we hearing more about the original themes here, Randy, which is anti-establishment, anti-status quo, power to the people, build the middle class, don't tear it down, restore living wages to working men and women and their families, and let's get this country moving again.
I don't think you're giving Donald Trump adequate credit for the idea that he is systematically building the case for the debate. I think there will come a moment after having given a series of these cases that he's making out on national security, on the economy, on trustworthiness, where you get to the end of the day and you're standing on the stage right next to Hillary Clinton and you look square in the eye and you say, how could you lie to the parents of a fallen soldier in Benghazi about the cause of their death? How could you in good conscience do that? How could you systematically sit after taking the oath in front of the United States Congress and say things which you knew were not true?
Yeah, let me assure you, I'm giving him all the credit in the world. What I am also giving him credit for is having the judgment and the passion and the opportunity to take that battle every day to her in every meaningful issue. And those are the issues which he has done best, earliest, and has throughout.
But the problem is you and Randy are making a much better case against Hillary and a better case for him than he is for himself. He gave a good speech today. He needs to stick with that speech. He's got 12 weeks to go. He's got to kick this thing in gear. And let's not pretend we're behind in this race. He's behind in this race. There's a lot of problems in his campaign. There's a lot of problems with him as a candidate. You got 12 more weeks, and you got to win every single week from here on out if you want to be the president.
You know, I'm getting the impression, and Ed and I, by the way, just so you know when I say this, Ed Rollins and I are great friends, and we go back a long ways. But I got to say to you, I'm tired of him being the only flawed human being in the United States of America. I mean, everybody says, you know, he's got problems. I don't agree with him about everything. You know, he's a little different. I want him a lot different. I'm happy about that. Aren't you, Randy?
I am. And the question is, would you rather have somebody tell you the hard truth, straight up, look at you square in the eye and tell you like it is, or would you rather have somebody who is very politically correct, leftist politically correct, lie to your face? Lie to your face about the death of your son.
Which would you prefer? Represent both ends of that question.
I'm going to tell you both the hard truth. We got a ways to go here, and we got to get this campaign on track. And as I said, the two of you articulate the message very, very well. He has to do it every single day, and he can't get sidetracked. He got sidetracked on his economic speech a week ago. If he gets sidetracked this week when he's out there battling the Islamic State and what have you, he will have another week of bad news.